3 minutes. And we are live.
Hello, everybody. Like last time, we are opening the show. You must have been expecting Sonia and Tamanna to be here, but yeah, we're the stars of the show for the next 2 minutes at least until you guys keep on coming in.
Awesome, guys. So if you're watching, please comment below and let us know that you're watching live. Just comment live so that we know you're there. And tell us where you're watching from. We're currently streaming this in three places: our Facebook page, our Facebook group, Growth and Monetization for Facebook Group Admins, and the new group for Southeast Asia. So let us know where you're watching from and do tag your friends, do comment below, and let's get more people in so that
Yeah.
you guys are in
So,
for a good treat. You have Sonia
yes. So,
giving a
guys, our
lot.
job is to like get a little more people and kind of warm up the audience and tell you that you're in for a good, great treat coming your way. And we'll just be starting in about 2 minutes from now.
Let's see. So
We're
actually
live on the
now,
group.
yeah, because we don't have the always like we can't see the. So I have to. I'm just checking our group. Okay, so guys,
Hmm.
if you're watching now, just leave a comment below. Tell us where you're watching from, and if you have any questions at any point later on, we're going to do our best to address them as well. So let's see who's on. All right, I'm gonna check our group. So we have currently I see four here.
Yeah.
So hello everyone. Let's see where they're from. So actually not in the group, maybe the page. But we have five people now. So guys, since we can't see you from here, like just let us know. Just say hi where you're watching from. And we have a really good episode for Community Leader Spotlight series tonight. It's going to be I know it's gonna be epic. So Sonia, there's so much to learn from Sonia, so it's gonna be exciting. Oh, I'm seeing comments
Got
now.
it. We're coming.
All
Yeah,
right,
the comments have started coming in.
right.
Okay,
Awesome.
guys. So let's set the stage open. Do you want to invite Nix,
Yeah,
Sonia, and Tamana? Yeah.
I'm
Cool.
gonna bring on Sonia and Tamana, and we're gonna see you later. Bye guys,
Yeah.
or
Bye
good night.
bye. See you.
Okay, so are we live? Yes, yes. Hi, Sonia. Welcome. Sonia, I cannot hear you. If maybe you're on mute.
Hi Tamanna, how are you?
I'm doing great. Very good to be chatting with you on this forum. We chat otherwise, but it's great to host you in this community leader spotlight. For those of you who don't know Sonia, Sonia is the founder of Pula. She's started a movement of sorts for women in Pune. She started on this journey in 2015. I'll let her, go through all the details, but I have to tell you that I met Sonia in, I think, December or November 2019. I met her at a Facebook event in Gurgaon, and I was just so inspired by her energy, her passion to help women out there. And she's just been at it for so many years. It's just amazing to be with you, Sonia. I'm sure we learn a lot on how you built your community single-handedly initially, right? Scaled it to this level, and how you've set an example for so many other, community leaders to just go for it, build a community, and also now sustaining it meaningfully. So welcome again to the show. Um, I just want to start out, Sonia, with really your story, right? Tell us, what was Sonia doing before she thought of starting Pula? What was the aha moment where she thought of building a community, and why on Facebook? Just would love to know your story on how all this launched.
Thank you, Tamanna, for all the nice words. It definitely feels good and motivated to start over here. Aha moment. Okay, so just to give a little background, when I was like, Pula started in 2015, but before that, when I was on my maternity break and I was a part of course, Facebook and the other social platforms, I was part of a lot of other Facebook groups like mother groups, weight loss groups, art and craft groups, and I actually realized the power of social media as how it can help everyone connect. you have a need, you post it, and there are many people there to comment, support, advise. And that's when I realized that my own city did not have any kind of support group, and especially the women category. So me being very open and extrovert, I did a little research. I found out as what can be done. How can I take this ahead? Can I start a community in Pune where we can support a lot of women? So with that thought process, I think came the aha moment where a lot of thought process went into it as what should be the guidelines, what should be the motive of the community that will keep all the audience, all the members stuck to your group. How can you help them ahead, and what can be done? So on July 2015, 26 July, that's when the group was launched. And there were lot of course more details to it.
That's awesome. So before starting Pula, Sonia, were you like working somewhere full time, or uh, and then you left sort of your job as the community scaled?
I've always been into a training field, but uh, after my maternity break, I wanted to work, and I realized I could not do a full time job because of my daughter. So I did my Bachelor of Education, and I joined into a school as a teacher, the same school where my daughter was studying. So after a year, Pula happened, and the school rules that mobile phones are not allowed for the teachers. So my day used to be very hectic, the entire day being a teacher at school and come back home at 3 o'clock. And after that, I used to manage Pula. So it was getting very hectic. But yes, I was a teacher initially, and I'll of course share more as what happened and what was the driving force to leave the job and support Pula.
Wow. So, see, I'm sure a lot of you, even I didn't know this, but very inspiring that you couldn't use mobile phones in school, and which is why uh, decided to leave your job when you started the community. So, tell us what happened. When you launched, what was the first week like? What was the first month like? I know it seems like, today we're a community of 230,000 women in Pune, but just looking back, like how was the first few weeks, months? What gave you the confidence that yes, now this is something you want to do and scale?
Initially, of course, when the group was launched, I started this community, you could say, with 300 members on day one, because all these 300 girls were part of my friend list, who were, of course, ladies and a part of Pune. And with some guidelines in place, I tell this to every community leader that we have never studied how to run a community. So whatever you do is all out of entire experience, your failures, your success stories, and that's how you go ahead. Initial week was very nice. Initial 1 month was fantastic because there was nothing like this happening ever. So a lot of people were excited. They were happy to meet their old friends, connect. A lot of people were, oh, you are also in this group. I'm also in this group. Oh, you are my school friend. So they were connecting. A lot of people were even connecting for their mutual benefits. A lot of people were getting different kind of supports for entrepreneurship. Different needs were getting fulfilled. In fact, we did our first offline event within the first 45 days, and we had a good 70 people turning up for the event. So
Wow.
it was fantastic. The journey has been really, inspiring. I mean,
Hello, I think I lost you, Sonia. Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you. Yes,
Yes.
I can. So
Okay.
also in the initial first month itself, we hit some 5,000 members, and that time achieving 5,000 members was a big thing when you launch something new. Though today even the numbers, we are 2,30,000, but this number everybody finds it really big. But for us, it's a very organic number because we only have a 18 to 20% growth. That means when we have like 1,000 profiles in our inbox, we only have like around 180, 200 people who get selected and approved in the group. So that's kind of the filtration process that we do.
And you're saying that that is something you followed from the get-go. You were always very careful about selecting members in your community.
Absolutely. And also, I think later on with time, Facebook also helped us getting a lot of more features, where you could scan the profiles a little better way. Earlier, there used to be a lot of manual work, checking every profile, not getting to know, how many mutual friends or which group they are in, etc. But now at least we have that much of, support from them. So it's easier.
So, Sonia, tell me, what does Pula really now mean to you, right? Like from 2015 to now, you have scaled so much. And like, what is Pula? What does it mean to you? And I know you are very passionate about support. Like, every time I've spoken to Sonia, the first thing that she talks about is how she wants to support women. And how has this support, manifested in all your initiatives on the community?
Tamanna, I feel, this question as what Pula means to me, it's like, asking what does your kid mean to you? Uh, because Pula is everything to me. It's like you've given birth to it. You've nurtured it. You've seen it grow. You've seen it fall. You've helped it come out of the problems. So I think it's just growing a small child. So Pula is everything to me. Um, I'm grateful that I've got a fantastic team, so fantastic support from my house, my family to, run it. So it's of course like a small child to me, my second kid.
And in terms of support, like, so when you say supporting women, just tell us a little bit more. I'm a member of Pula, so I see all the amazing initiatives that you do. And, your strategy is very different. Like, you've maintained one community, but you provide different support pillars to women. It'll be very useful for other admins to hear that, because as they're thinking of scaling their community, and they think of, should I launch more communities around a specific need or branch out, or should I continue to build one community out? So
Okay.
your entire strategy on the different sort of support pillars, like how did that come to mind, and what are the different ways that women get support from each other in Pula?
I think any person here who runs a group, it's very very important to keep an eye as what's the need of your members. What are they looking at? What do they want? And that forms the motive of your group. In case if you've not formed it since day one, that's how you can streamline it, and focus on it. Um, there are of course multiple groups. Every group is focused on a different topic. Could be health, could be uh, food group, could be women empowerment, anything as such. But what is important is to have certain guidelines first in place, and you yourself as a leader follow those guidelines. The day you are following everything, your members will look at you and follow it. But the day you break it, or you give the leverage to even one member to misuse it, uh, I think that is where comes the dip point. And what that is what we've not done since day one. If there's a guideline for the member, it is for me and my family and my team also. Second thing, it's very important to uh, give a clear picture to your members as what they will find in this group, because a lot of new members are added but they don't understand as, okay, what is this group all about, what can I find over here, how will this group help me? And it's very important, in case if you are a huge umbrella just under the topic as women empowerment, which we are, so we've segregated ourselves as Monday we'll discuss these topics, Tuesday these topics, Wednesday these topics. So the day Wednesday a member has logged in into Pula, they know what they're going to find. It's not a fish market where they will just come and don't know where they are. So it's very important to streamline it. So maybe these few things can help a lot of new admins to form their groups and take it ahead.
To scale their groups. Yeah. So one clear takeaway there is, just very strict about guidelines and have a clear direction and expectation setting for the members. So in case of Pula, which is what I was referring to, every day is a specific topic that gets discussed. So when people come in, they know, one day is, let's say, parenting, or one day is around food recipes, one day is so it's very streamlined, and members then start following that discipline. So that's a great strategy. I have to say that it's a very different strategy, right? There's two schools of thought. One is that launch a different community, around each informational pillar, and the other is that have one community with days where you want to discuss those specific topics. And I think, Sonia, you're like a very, very good example. Like, I actually have not come across any other community even globally who has implemented this strategy so well. So that's something to take away for all of you who are looking to scale your communities now. um, I want to ask this question, Sonia, which has come up from a lot of members on copycat groups. And, well, copycat, maybe copycat, may not be copycat, but, there is competition, right? And there's, as more and more people are out building communities, some communities may have the same name, some communities may be solving the same problem. And, I do see admins getting very impacted whenever this happens. What is your suggestion on how they should manage this? And I ask this because you are the largest community in Pune, and a lot of communities came up after Pula, just because more people are building communities. And I know that you face some of these challenges. So what is your suggestion on managing this?
Tamanna, I think uh, earlier days, when because we all put in a lot of thought process, and we want to launch different ideas to keep our members to our group and stuck to our group. We don't want them to leave our group and go to some other, and that's where a lot of admins, founders, they put in their minds as what new can be done, or how can what can be launched, or how we can render support. And a lot of times we see the same thing is being copied by some other admin. In the early days, to be very, very honest, yes, I used to feel terribly sad. I used to be like, I want to go and shout at that person, scream at that person. I will not lie. But idea is no one's propriety, and one needs to be ready to accept the fact that today on social media, anything and everything can be copied. And if you're so concerned about people not copying you, get your idea, maybe a copyright done or some registration done or something, so that you can claim it. Now, in the long run, I take it as inspiration. I take it as, okay, maybe we are the trendsetters and we've inspired many. And that's good, because our motive is support, and they are also supporting another set of women. So, on a larger scale, let's support more people. Uh, Rather, in fact, there are a lot of admins who approach me and they seek advice, as you have done this on Pula, how can we do it? And I'm happy to help them, as how they can ideate it and take it ahead, and even seek copy it from us. I don't want to use the term copy, replicate it from us. But one tip that I would want to give everyone is, even if you like an idea which another group is running, seek permission. One. Second thing is, don't copy word to word. Literally, I have come across posts where there are admins who don't put their brains in place, who just copy word to word. They've changed their group name. And I don't know what does that prove. That proves, you being the founder of the group, you don't even have that kind of mind where you can put in your own ideas. So it's very, very important to either inform that person, or maybe, tweak it a little bit, present it in a different way. So that's very important.
This is very, very good nuggets for all of us. I think both two people who have set up established communities, uh, again, idea is not proprietary, and get a copyright and eventually take it as inspiration. That's really profound, Sonia. It's such a good way to look at, right? We care about women empowerment, and let if more people are doing it, more people will get empowered. More women will get empowered. And then also for admins who are now looking to start communities, and are inspired by others, I think excellent advice: seeking permission, giving credit, and making some tweaks, right? Because otherwise it's like even Google dings you, right? If you copy the same article, you won't get showed up in SEO. So that's excellent. I really wanted to pick your brains on this particular topic because I know you face so many of these challenges, and I've seen that journey of realization. Thank you for being so candid about your like how you felt initially versus now. So one sort of last question on the whole launch and growth story piece, that if you were starting from scratch and building your community today, what would you do differently? Or if maybe there's nothing, maybe it's been perfect, but if you would, then what would be different?
Um, so if I have to start another community is what you're asking, and how would I do it? Um, I think the easiest thing for me would be ask my members in the current group as what new group that they would want, and what is the support or what's the need currently. So that may help me to ideate maybe my new group and understand the current trend as what's happening, because I keep an eye everywhere. I have a lot of I read a lot. I read a lot. I study a lot of communities. I understand how they're working. So uh, there are two things. One is either you want to just start a community to become famous. One is you actually want to support and understand the need of people. So it's understand what is your motive, and in case if your motive is support, and talk to your community and go ahead. And I think it will be easier for me to get the members because I already have a community. I can post the link there.
Yes, yes. So now that problem of the initial, I mean, even though the first time 300 is a lot, but this time it'll probably be 3,000 or 30,000. Okay, so that's great. So I now wanna cover a very very interesting aspect, Sonia. For those of you who are just sort of joining in, we're talking to Sonia. She's built like the largest community in Pune, which is the biggest support network for women. She manages about 230,000 members in Pula. And we just went through her growth story. And I now want to cover an aspect which is very, very interesting to me, where you extended your support initiative beyond just the community by launching an app for the sellers and buyers. And I know that you feel very, very passionately about, women entrepreneurs, those who are running businesses from home or just, small businesses. Uh, I just love to know. I would love for you to tell us more about it. Like, how did you do it? And I know I've heard the story. I was fascinated, but please tell us, how did that thought come? And Sonia just sitting, in her house and managing community full time and already doing all of this. How did she actually go out there and launch an app? So just would love to hear this. You're on mute, Sonia. You're on mute. Sorry. Yeah.
Thank you. Um, I think anything that we community leaders do comes out of a need. And I have a habit to talk always to my entrepreneurs. Whenever I meet them, I talk to them as because the entrepreneurs that we have on Pula are very small scale entrepreneurs. They are home entrepreneurs. We are trying to boost them to earn an income. Sitting at home, promoting on these kind of social media groups. So I talk to them. I understand as what do you need more. How can we help you more? What is the kind of support we can give you more? Because today if they have to go and put up their products on a platform like Amazon or Flipkart or something, they'll have to pay heavy fees, which at the moment they may not be able to afford it. So I think that is when I spoke to a lot of entrepreneurs, I understood that they wanted, they faced a lot of problems with payments, because what happens is, for example, if I am an entrepreneur and Tamanna is buying something from me, I have shipped the product, but Tamanna has not paid me in time. So, and then I have to follow up with Tamanna, please pay, please pay. So the initial thing was payments. They want direct, a payment gateway site. Then the second thing is they don't know how to manage their stock. Either they were following an old book method where they used to write everything. Okay, 4 kurtis of this product left, 4 designs of this thing left, or etc. But they didn't know how to manage their stock. Then they didn't even know how much profit they've made that month, or how much profit they've made in the entire month, or which month has been the highest profitable or loss. So there was a lot of things that I understood. The main uh, uh, problem that they faced was with deliveries. They were paying a lot of delivery charge, in the city itself. So that's what made me think about the entire app, where we could give these kind of features to our entrepreneur. And again, over here, we associated with a technical support team, a partner where they already had an app. And our motive was not to earn out of the app. Our motive was to support. So we did charge our entrepreneurs who came on and registered a mere fee of like 200 or 250 rupees a month. So that's not even like a 10 rupees a day. So, but in that, they got features like where they could do their stock management, they could do their profit and loss, they could take payments from their customers, they could give deliveries, and they are really happy with it. So, always talk to your, entrepreneurs, members, as what do you need and how can we help you. I think that will help you target your next growth plan.
So I think you've taken this concept of listening to your members to the next level, right? Because what I hear is every single pain point which you heard from them, which is, listing on Amazon, payments, stock management, shipping and delivery, all of those features, since you were not able to do it within the Facebook group
Exactly.
platform, right? Because, yeah.
So just to add, Tamanna, thank you for adding that word. Of course, though we use Facebook as a platform, there are a lot of features that you don't get on Facebook. So at times, because of that, you need to go to a third party. So that is how we built our website for a reason. We built our app for a reason, because those features are not found on Facebook.
Yes, and that's I really want everybody to take this away also, that Facebook provides that first step, right, to build a community. Like, there is possibly no better platform to build a community than Facebook groups. Having said that, there's when you start hearing and seeing uh, things that you could solve through another platform. Sonia took the plunge and did it, right? She went all out. She tied up with like a technical partner to build out an app. And this is a lot. Like, this is pretty much like a full-fledged e-commerce app that she's built in. Uh, when did this app launch, Sonia? I know it was right before COVID, if I'm not mistaken, right?
It
Yeah,
last year.
I have to tell you guys, I was talking to Sonia, and this was right, like, I think right at the time when COVID hit, right? We Conversited just launched, and so I was taking Sonia's input, and Sonia was telling me her, sort of dilemma at that point, that she's just launched the app, and there the whole world is shut down. But I think the spirit and the energy, even in that conversation, right, where you were not like sort of very flustered that, oh my god, you were still okay because you had just launched and COVID hit. So how, like, what happened after COVID hit? So you launched this app, like, did you get, you had an initial set of entrepreneurs, or women sellers who had signed up, and then what happened, like, for the next few months?
Um, Tamanna, I believe challenges are going to come in whatever you launch, and you need to be ready for it. So, of course, when COVID happened, nobody in the world was ready as what is going to happen next. When is it going to end? What next? But then, with time, we realized that in case if our members are showing the trust in us and they are ready to use the app and pay, we need to retain that trust. So what we did is we increased their membership for those many months where they couldn't use it. And I think that is the best give back we could do for our members and retain their trust, because just keeping their money for those 3 months or 2 months doesn't make sense, because we've also not done anything for them. And when we announced that, no worries, whoever has enrolled on the app, and if you couldn't use it, how much ever the lockdown period is, we will push it ahead and increase it. Everybody were happy, and they became our ambassadors. They became our word of mouth, because we turned into the good books. So they in fact told many more people, go ahead, use it. So I think that was one. Second thing, because we were giving deliveries in the COVID lockdown period also, after that, we trained our delivery boys to deliver with all precautions, and everybody's and that too, we were the first one in Pune to deliver anything anywhere for 30 rupees flat, just 30 rupees flat. So that helped a lot of entrepreneurs scale up their business and still provide deliveries without any problems. So that was again the second thing which really helped us be, in the good books, and a lot of people, custom entrepreneurs came on our app.
This is like, we talk about user obsession, right? When you build a company, you think like, you think of how Amazon got built, right? And you look at any video and you see how obsessed, like, Jeff Bezos was when he really thought about the consumer, on how to provide the variety of products, on how to provide convenience and fast shipping. And you've taken this to the next level, Sonia, because as I understand, this was mostly self-funded. but really taking this step of returning the money, however small or large it was, to sort of instill trust, understanding that, these are as it is small time sellers, and uh, doing that proactively, and offering delivery, restarting it as soon as the world started opening up with all precautions at such a low cost. I think that's what I love about you, Sonia. Like, whatever you say, you mean every single word of it. Like, because you pop up on my feed few times a day, right? And I'm like, it's amazing to see Sonia out there in the world, not just talking, but really doing every single thing that she's saying out there. So this is amazing to know. Even I did not know so much details. So tell me, Sonia, that from an app perspective, what is, so I know that your purpose is support first. Like, it's if I have the permission to say that, I think it's is like you're not building a company. I always think building a community is like building a company, right? If not more difficult. But I think you're building a missionary company, if I were to say that, right? Which is a community first initiative. Uh, what are your plans? Like, how do you think you would scale the app, and what are your plans with the app? And also a related question, that are you still self-funding it, or are you at least able to sustain it to a level where you can bear the monthly expenses?
The first part about what's the future plans, Amana, there definitely have been few plans in the pipeline, which we are already working on it. I think one I have shared with you last year, where I said that we want to do the AI, the artificial intelligence on our group. So we are trying to, get this feature that if there's any member on our group who is looking for a baker, so with the keyword baker, all the bakers on the app will get a notification that there's a post for hunt for a baker. Or if there's a doctor, or a psychiatrist or the therapist, so all the people who are registered on the app, they will get that kind of hint, so they can pitch and then maybe take it ahead. So we are trying to build on that. Mostly 90% work is also done. One, that. Second, because we want to make it easier for our sellers. Otherwise होता क्या है, सब लोग जानते हैं, एक Facebook group में it's like a bucket. Whatever the post come, it goes down. Whatever comes goes down, and the visibility is not really great. So this way, we can help a lot of entrepreneurs, get the business. Two, definitely we want to help our entrepreneurs show their products to reach globally, not only Pune market, but they should go out of Pune. Their product should be pan India, global. So we want to maybe build a e-commerce site or an aggregator of products, or help them reach to the global market. Third, I think if we can, for a service industry, because these are all about people who are selling products, maybe who are in the service category, I want to maybe make something like a very simple, like a urban clap, or maybe related, which can be a directory, like a one-stop solution. If I'm looking for a chef, or I'm looking for farar for Diwali, or I'm looking for a maybe salon service at home or something. So in my area in Pune, and these all are your verified trusted sellers. So the trust goes more, and these people also get a lot of business. So I think these are the three plans that I have in pipeline.
That's amazing. I know the first plan you and I, like the first idea you and I discussed so much, right? Because that was one of the core features in Conversite also, which we had built at that time. Because I also truly believe that any keyword based sort of notification that you get, right? In this case, the use case is to connect buyers and sellers, but then whether it is for spam, whether it is for, we're actually noticing a number of community admins now setting up certain alerts for themselves, so that they find out what are people talking about, even if it's related to a brand or it's related to a pain point, and then it helps serve them better. So that's amazing to know that we'll probably even talk offline to learn more. And then this global reach is such an amazing idea. I cannot wait for this to go out. And Sonia, please share all the developments with us in this community, because there is just so much inspiration to take and so much we can learn, and a lot of buy. There are communities which are just buy and sell also, and I think they can take inspiration on either smaller initiatives that they could do to scale this and add value to their sellers. And again, services is excellent. So many service providers out there. COVID has only increased, right, the number of uh, sort of more and more people starting to do things from home and providing value from home. So excellent idea. Just very, very happy to know about all these initiatives, and I'm sure you'll succeed in all of these. So tell me that, Sonia, from a sustainability standpoint, are you now at a level, and I after this we'll get a little bit more into sustainability, but are you at a level where you're able to bear the monthly expenses of the app, or is it still self-funded?
Um, so so basically, we've got in a partnership with another technical team. So they have the app development with them, and I have my ideation with us. So it's like that's how we've collaborated, and that's how we're taking it ahead. To be very honest, yes, there is not much of profits or anything as of now, and we are not even looking at it. Uh, Maybe, see, everybody loves earning money, definitely, but here right now our motive is, to support. And I'm sure once we get a lot of entrepreneurs here, that is when we can earn later on, where we can have a larger market for them. So right now, yes, we are doing good. There's no loss, there's no profit, but we're sustainable.
Awesome. So you're saying that at least it's at a no profit, no loss. You're able to bear your expenses, and you're able to bear these expenses from, I mean, you're barely charging anything to the entrepreneurs. Really hats off to you for that. But you're able to bear it through that, but also a few other uh, revenue streams that you've initiated right from within the community. That's amazing. So again, you launched this right when COVID hit, so Jan 2020. So it's safe to say that within maybe somewhere last year, within the first year, you are at a level where it's at least not a cash burn.
Correct. True.
Right. Yeah, so for everybody out there, there's initial, of course, time investment and this thought of a partnership. I think very creative way to build this. Find a partner who's also motivated to build something like this, who would possibly do it at just because there is a purpose to this whole there is a mission behind building this out, and people always get drawn to missions. So have a partnership, if to build this out, and then within a few months you could reach a state where it could be at least self-sustaining, and the profit can come later.
It's very important, I think, to anything that you want to launch, it's very important to plan. If there's an investment, and if you've invested a lot of money, please plan your next 6 months, 12 months, that you are sustainable. I mean to say, if you go in a lot of losses, then that is when you start getting the thoughts of closing it.
Yes, exactly. So planning investment, because sometimes we're very passionate, we may want to do something, but then maybe we figure out other revenue sources to build up a base to then go out and experiment and say that I have the next 6 months liquidity. That's amazing. And how many entrepreneurs are on the app now? I've not caught up with you on that for some time.
So, Tamanna, on our group, we have around 9,300 verified sellers. And on the app, we have around 800 people who've registered, entrepreneurs who've registered. But again, these entrepreneurs, somebody takes 3 months plan, 6 months plan, 12 months plan. So that's how, on and off, it goes on increasing and decreasing as such.
Got it.
Currently, 900.
So two very important pieces of information. And I apologize, I'm like repeating some of the stuff, but I just want everybody to learn from this. 9,300 verified sellers. I want us to look at the word verified, because Sonia does go through in her group, she goes through an entire verification process. And as much as it may sound like, oh my god, this is a pain in the ass and people will not verify, she from the get-go has been very, very strict about this, right? Because she wants to ensure, because there's a buyer and seller relationship going on here, and she wants to ensure the legitimacy of both sides. This also, and Sonia, if you can tell us a little bit more, it'll help us on how you verify. But I want to say one thing. There's a lot of admins who've reached out with this, that we have a buy sell, there's number of sellers, but when you ask them what is the number of sellers that you have, they don't have that information. It is okay to go and get information on your sellers. Tell them that we need the information so that we can serve you better. Like, we need to know the database of our sellers in our community, right? So that we can serve them better. And that's the first step. It is not that difficult, even if you get it in a Google Sheet or wherever. But I think the first step is to get at least a database of the seller. And Sonia, can you tell us a little bit about the verification process?
Sure, Tamanna, I would love to rather, because I feel every admin who has anything related to buy and sell should get their sellers verified. So again, this came out of a need. There was a big fraud that took place on our platform in around 2016 or 20. I think that was 2017. Yes, 2017 June. We had a very big fraud where a lady had a fake account and she was selling some Pakistani kurtis for just 1,000 rupees, real dirt cheap. A lot of people fell prey to it, and she made some 62,000 rupees out of it. She closed her account, she closed her phones, everything was gone. And that's when on our group we got to know this is a fraud. Though I worked for it, I got everybody's money back. It was featured in a lot of radio channels and newspapers that, we helped get everybody's money from this fake account. But then I realized that people were losing trust on the sellers and they were not buying from them because this fraud took place. So again, I had to put my thought process as what next? How can I retain that trust of the buyer seller? So that's how we formed this organization. And whenever there is anything which gets money in picture, it's very important for every person to form a company, form an organization, sole proprietorship, partnership, whatever you call it, but get it legal. One. Second thing, talk to your lawyer, CA, as what next. How I hired somebody, they guided me ahead. I got a current account formed, I got my company registered, then we got the GST in place. There was a lot of things. I call myself a forced entrepreneur because I never wanted to be one. But because of all this, I had to become the director of my organization today. And then we formed a website. And on the website, we have an entire way where a seller, just three things. They have to fill the form, upload the documents, and the details. Upload the form, put the documents, and pay the money. One mistake I did, major mistake I did, and I would love to share this, is because you're a support group and you've always been giving the services free for people to advertise. When you charge, you feel scared that what will people tell, judge, you're making money, etc. But they don't understand how much pain there is behind to build the website, etc. So we came to a point where we charged only 1,000 rupees lifetime. That's 1,000 rupees lifetime. On that also, I had a lot of my own friends, my ex team, a lot of group members who defamed us, who put us down that you want to make money. Okay, now you're going to monetize it. But when you know you're not wrong, please don't feel bad. There are a lot of people who want to put you down, but I knew what I am trying to do. Today, this model is a super successful model. A lot of groups have, taken this model into picture. Everybody is getting words like trusted seller, verified seller, verification, etc. And I have a team at the back end who verifies this entire process, makes an ID card, gives it to the seller. Now, because of that, of course, the customers have the trust on the sellers and the sales have increased. So
Yeah.
that's how we work.
This is amazing. I'm sure everyone who's listening, right, is noting down. I'm myself taking all the takeaways down, right? I always do that when I'm interviewing someone. But uh, I do want to mention Sonia's possibly one of the first communities, maybe across the world, who has come up with such a mechanism. She actually had the people say have the balls to do something first in the world, and she did that. It's really having balls, right? Because people will be like, oh my god, you're an admin, and you should just, it's charity, right? Admins are supposed to do this for charity, and we talk about this a lot, that admins cannot pour from an empty glass, right? They also need to sustain. And so for Sonia to suddenly go out and say that, I will have a verification process in place, which again, thank you for sharing that incident, because it really shows how much you listen and act. And I cannot sort of emphasize the importance of that, listening to your members and acting on it. And that's exactly what you did, which is why this process started. But then taking it to the next level, where again, it's not about making money as much, because what is 1,000 rupees lifetime? But
It's,
1,000
it's not
rupees,
one
it,
rupee a post,
exactly, exactly. But it really shows their commitment, right, and their seriousness. Anybody can get up today and say, hey, I'm set. Not that that's the case, but there are all kinds of home based sellers. So to really have, again, I'm saying, the balls to stand up and say, it's okay, judge me if you may, but I will launch this. And initially, it's a simple website, right? You just, and all of us can do this. There's lots of free tools out there to create a form, to create a website, get basic information, and even take money. It could be anything, right? It could be Paytm, you can have a receipt. So not getting into details, but I don't want this to be construed as, oh my God, there was a team and there was like, we should all, I think, get into the habit of doing this. And I will mention this, Sonia, that even for myself, I'm taking this away because, uh, uh, as the founder of a mission driven organization, I also I just never feel comfortable to even charge anything to any admin, right? Like when we have this discussion internally, a lot of time between us co-founders, I'm like, admins are not like, they're not making any money. It's okay, right? Let's just, but I think you're right that for some legitimacy, like, right, for credibility, just taking that step, and it's now become, she has set the standard globally. And I'm saying this because I also interact with a number of admins globally who's who have a number of sellers in their communities, but nobody has been able to take this step. So this is kudos to you.
one thing that I would like to add over here is quickly, any admin, any founder over here who wants to charge your members for anything, any kind of work related to your group, please get it legal. Please get it registered. Please get a current account and don't take money in your personal account, because that is not right, and you will fall into a lot of trouble paying a lot of different kind of income tax, etc. So get everything legally structured. And in India, we all get scared. Oh my God, if I form a company, there'll be a lot of different kind of procedures I have to follow. But if you're charging somebody for any kind of work, you are doing office work. It is an organization. So please go legal.
Again, I think very important. Lots of people ask when, and of course everybody has the right time to do it, but specifically I think for groups that are connecting buyers and sellers, it's important to have, like you're saying, spend a little bit if you're serious about this, and get it legally in place. I actually had a question on how did you create such a successful support network of buyers and sellers, but I think you've answered that through all of these experiences that you've shared. I know we are coming at time, but I have a couple of other questions, Sonia. One is, specifically on, so again, in terms of sustainability, you've shared with us how you started again with 1,000 rupees lifetime membership. It's some means of sustainability. The app, which is again some means to sustainability. I have a question around brand partnerships also. You've been able to do it pretty successfully. How to create value for both brands and members? A lot of times, admins ask that, how do we ensure that there's engagement? Because again, brands are potentially one of the largest sponsors for certain relevant communities, right? So what is your advice for admins who are beginning to do it?
One, my first advice is that when you're a beginner, when you're in the initial early days, it's very important for the admin to be active part of the group, create content, create engagement, be a part of every activity, because that is when you need to set your community in an auto mode. But once you've turned 1 year, 2 year, and you've seen that, okay, now it's the members who know how the group is running, and they will be the one who will be posting things as per the guidelines and run your group. So you can take a back seat that time, and then you can start focusing on monetizing. A lot of admins forget that you cannot monetize from day one, because any brand will expect some visibility which you cannot give them from day one. So it's very important to first set your group, and get that kind of visibility and engagement. um, Second thing, approach brands or say yes to a brand which makes value to your group. So today, if I run a woman based group, I can only, brand or associate with groups who add value to my members, who give something return to my members. I don't just promote for the sake of promoting or because I'm getting money. Um, I want to give visibility to the brand. I want to make a long-term relationship with the brand. I want my members to get benefit from that brand, and that is when I associate with that brand. So many times we have to say no to a brand who doesn't make sense to your community, because you're not going to help them. And that is where, in case if you still associate just because you're getting money, uh, you are not actually adding value, and that brand may go and talk, oh, Tula, no, I didn't get any kind of visibility there, so why do you want to spoil your name in the market just for some amount? So understanding these things is very important. Uh, Also in the initial days, I think 3 years, I have just not made a single rupee. I've not made a single rupee by any post. Every post I've done was for free because I wanted to build those relationships. I wanted a lot of brands approach us. I wanted to make that kind of connections. And today I have strong connections with what amazing brands. So give time, understand, and make that kind of, uh, relations with them is what I would say.
Sure. So I think that's very, very important. And just to say that first 3 years, you continue to build this without, any revenue stream really. And it's a long time, right? But um, it's like really incubating, right? The
Uh,
community,
to
extending
be
the support.
be to be again honest over here, Tamanna, I was scared in the initial days. Can I charge a brand? Oh, can a Facebook group charge a brand for, promotion? I was really not aware of such kind of concepts also. I think monetizing brand, charging for a brand has now come into picture from the last year or so, 2 years maybe. So that is when we are openly talking about it. Also, why I built the website is because I didn't know that can we monetize or charge our sellers for Facebook. Oh, will they close my group? I was always scared with those thoughts, and that's why I had to move all these concepts to another website, a third party technology partner, where I could do whatever I feel like. So there are a lot of things, but now all the admins who are new, you are in fact lucky ones because there's a lot of things happening now.
Yes, I completely agree with that thought, right? And I think we're, of course, like I'm extremely passionate, like so Sonia, your passion for individuals, and I think just empowering and giving. I think financial freedom is a very, very big thing. That gratification that we also feel every day when an admin just gets their first income, and today it's become easier. I think there's, and I mean even now, right? There's lots of no's. There's lots of no's that admins face, and I'm sure you faced a lot of no's, right? I still, whenever I'm trying to talk about communities, every single day people are like shooting me down more than supporting, right? Because they're like, oh, but what do we know, communities are so small and this and that, and we don't get metrics. But I think that movement has started. We all know that movement has started. This is what Sonia is telling you. I and I can also just vouch for it, being at the forefront of this, right? Just sort of standing for this cause. But that movement has started, and uh, it'll only go up from here, right?
I I would love to share an incident over here, which is very personal, and I'm maybe if a lot of other admins could relate to it. 2015 July, we started our community. 2016 March, we did our first exhibition. I do not have those kind of skills to organize an exhibition, so I had outsourced the exhibition to another person. My only motive was I want an exhibition to be done because I want to give that kind of visibility to my entrepreneurs. I think I got some 8-10,000 rupees earning from that kind of exhibition, but not really much. What happened was immediately after the exhibition, I had never been for an international trip, and it was our 10th anniversary. My husband planned an international trip for us. But what the buzz went around, oh my God, Sonia made so much of money that she's gone international. So that's how people put it up, and that's what I used to hear. But we know what is the fact. We know what we have gone through and how much efforts we've put in, and what it's that is not the fact. So don't let anybody's gossips or rumors uh, put you down or stop what you're doing. Just focus on it, because people are going to talk a lot of things about you when you start making money, and it's okay. You can't do a lot of things for free. You can of course support, but not always.
Yeah, I think that's very important again. And thank you for sharing that with us, because a number of admins here who now, have a certain level of scale or who get featured, etc., right? People notice, and there could be finger pointing, but it is, that's why they say the rise of community entrepreneurship. And it's not just, I think communities are mission driven companies, right? And that's really what we are all here to support as well. It's so, like, this is the second spotlight that we're doing. The first one was amazing, and the second one is amazing. Like, I get goosebumps when I hear. I cannot even imagine, Sonia, what you went through while building all of this, right? Because everyone only sees the good side of it, right? And I'm actually very happy whenever I see, you out there giving a talk, receiving an award, and doing it so gracefully. But all the hard work that has gone into it, right? Nothing comes overnight, and we have to be comfortable in our own skin. Doesn't matter, but the world will be talking about community entrepreneurs, and we're all at the forefront of it, right? So we should be proud of it, not trying to justify it. So that's very, very good to know. I also wanted to understand, Sonia, that and this is something Aditya really wanted me to ask you, that how do you think Conversite has helped at all? I know personally, I have to tell you guys that I spoke to two admins, right? I remember I spoke to 10 admins before launching, and Sonia was one of them, because I really valued, her advice and her suggestions, and uh, just sort of entering into a gray area. So her suggestions have been very useful. But now that you've been using, is there any benefit that you see? Or and if yes, please, would love to hear your thoughts.
Tamanna, I think you are another super inspirational woman where you have started something revolutionary for a lot of admins, made their work much, much easier by this entire concept of Conversite. I took a lot of time to, download it on my group. A lot of times I thought, oh my God, they'll get my data. Oh my God, they'll get the access of all my members, So a lot of questions used to haunt me, sorry. And that Tamanna helped me understand everything personally. And I was so happy after I launched it, because you could get insights to a larger extent. You could, pre-plan your post. You could get the insights of every post. And of course, I got a lot of brand connections through Conversite. So it's been a fantastic journey with them. There are a lot of training programs that you organize, so much to learn, and I've actually seen how you've scaled up each and every admin, helped them, support them with whatever need they have. So it's fantastic.
Thank you, Sonia. That means a lot. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so guys, we are at, like, we're 3 minutes remaining. I would love to take some questions. I apologize, I not left a lot of time for questions, but we had questions beforehand, so I wanted to cover it all. If there are any questions, or any questions that I'm just looking at the comments right now. Uh, but if there are, I know there's a lot of appreciation messages, Sonia, which is what we expect. Uh, if there are any questions, could Aditya or Nix, could you please share it in comments? Uh, how to verify sellers and how to register them. I think Sonia did take this up. I would suggest you could go back and listen to the part of the recording, because she did take it up in fair bit of detail on how she has a website and even the verification and a team. And so we went through that. If there are any other questions, and while we are waiting, Sonia, any sort of like the final sort of words, or suggestions or advice. A lot of admins out there in the world, I can say that, like, are really just waiting to see the light of the day, where they can figure a means to sustainability. And I'm saying this even for global admins. Some of them are really doing part-time jobs even to make ends meet, right? It really, it's heart-wrenching to see all of that. What is your advice to them?
Um, Specifically related to monetizing a group, Tamanna. Okay.
Yeah, sustaining a group, right? Because they're putting their heart and soul into it. So yeah.
So, of course, every group is not a support group. Every group has a different motive, and a lot of groups can monetize from the day one if you have a very good idea and you can execute it really well. But what we need to understand is to gain the trust of your members initially and make them like the ambassadors or your cheerleaders. Let's understand that you may not get a lot of money from one kind of idea. So it's very good to build in, small different projects and maybe get them on an auto mode where it will not take your lot of time. And you may get a little amount from one project, a little more from the second, and a little more from the third. But that's how you understand, okay, which project is working the best, where am I getting more. Apart from money, it's very important that you are also giving back to your members in the group, and which is giving your group also a good name and fame. So there's a lot to understand. It's not all only about money. It's not only about okay, money is sustainability. Sustainability can also be only name and fame to your group. You can make money from different kind of collaborations on a personal note, or maybe being consultant or whatsoever. So it's very important for us to understand that first. A lot of people think if you started a Facebook group, okay, you can start earning money. But I think slow down, think, understand, how to go it, because I have seen a lot of admins not be successful because their target was only money. So it doesn't work that way.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sonia. I've really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for having such. I know I'd requested you to have a very real, candid conversation. Again, the only objective of doing these is to have real nuggets which admins can take away, right? We don't know, like, one thing that you say could really change the course for someone listening to this, right? Someone can get inspired and have a tangible piece of advice. So I really think you've been some of the things that you've shared here. I've never heard you share that on any other forum or any article. Uh, so thank
You know,
you
very,
for
very quickly before we end the call, I would just like to share something very personal, because this may help a lot of admins there. I was a very, very emotional person when we started Pula. Initial 2 years, I have seen myself crying. I have seen myself in a corner of the house, if something has gone wrong. And one day my co-admin left, and I thought maybe I will not be able to run the group. But with time, I became more strong. I emerged more stronger. I made myself more practical, and now I'm a balanced person where I can think between emotion and practical and then take a decision. So it's the time that teaches you. Give time to your community, stay focused. I think that is what is going to take you to places, and that's how it's going to help you grow.
Yes. So, on that note, that is what will take us places, and we will go places together. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you all for tuning in. I see that there are some questions. I think Sonia would definitely probably try to answer them in in comments. I know we are at time, so that's why we'll sign off now. Thank you so much again, Sonia. This was super.
This
Thank
is
you.
true. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.